For CreateX3.com, I'm Damon DiMarco. Thanks for joining us. Please hit subscribe. I'll tell you a personal story. When I went to buy my first typewriter, it was November of 2016, and I was completely blocked as a writer. Nothing was coming out at all, and this had never happened to me in all the years that I've been writing throughout my entire publishing career, and I was scared because I didn't know, A, if I was ever going to write again, and B, therefore, how I was going to make a living. So I decided to unplug myself from the computer, and I figured that since I had grown up on typewriters, maybe it would be a good idea for me to go back to typewriters and see if I could get something out that way. That journey led me to Gramercy Typewriter Company right here in New York City. They used to be down around 21st Street. They have since moved to a beautiful shop. I believe it's on West 17th Street now. And I was in their shop and I was looking at all the typewriters, and I had it in my head at the time that I had to have a Hermes 3000 typewriter. Why? Because I was going through a Larry McMurtry phase. I was going through a Larry McMurtry phase. I had just finished reading Lonesome Dove and the 3 other books in that series, and I thought this is just spectacular. And Larry McMurtry routinely used a Hermes 3000 typewriter, so I figured that's what I've got to have. I've got to have one just like that so that I can write like Larry McMurtry. Well, I went in there and I looked around, and if you've ever been to Gramercy Typewriter, they used to have just typewriters lined up all over the place in racks. It's like an emporium of typewriters in there. And I saw the Hermes 3000. It was sitting right there. There it was. And I said, that's a Hermes 3000. The proprietor came out, Jay Schweitzer, and he said, yep, you know your typewriters. That's a Hermes 3000. Would you like to give it a try? And I said, absolutely. And Jay very kindly pulled it out. He put it on the table, and I sat down in front of this thing, and I just wanted to get the feel of it, you know, like you're going to drive your first Lamborghini or your first Ferrari, you know. You just want to kind of experience that moment for what it is. Well, when I put my hands on those keys, something didn't happen for me. That's as best I can put it. Something did not happen. The machine was too precise for me as a writer at the time. That's the best way that I can put it. I was going through a phase where I think I was wrestling really hard with the writing, and I wanted a machine that wasn't so elegant, that wasn't so simple, that wasn't so masterfully crafted. I wanted something a bit more guttural, something a bit more German, frankly.
Our friendship is very important to me. Let's all pile into the minivan and go get some frozen yogurt. Would you like a back rub? You look beautiful in a tube top.
And so, after trying a variety of typewriters, I said, this one, the Hermes 3000, isn't exactly what I thought it was going to be. To which Jay said to me, the one chooses the wizard, kind of like out of Harry Potter. And he's right about that. When you go to choose a typewriter, you must feel a connection to it. This is the purest, simplest way that I can put this. You absolutely have to feel a connection to that machine.
I love you. You set my soul on fire.
You're going to be spending a lot of time with it. If you don't feel that connection, keep trying until you find one that does speak to you. Of course, if you're like me, you're going to have far too many of them after a while. So there's always one typewriter around that I feel I can connect with for every different project that I do. But the long story short was I walked out of there with my Olympia SM3, which still is a beautifully crafted machine, much more stalwart than the Hermes 3000. It's a battle tank. That thing, if you've ever used one, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The fact also that it is a carriage shift.
You can probably hear how clunky that is. Do you hear how the whole table vibrates? Listen.
By contrast, the Hermes 3000 goes snick, snickety, dick, 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 dick. And it rattles along with the precision of a Swiss watch. At the time, I was more interested in the bazooka tones.
The bazooka plays the song of death to the enemy.
Of the German machine. Whack, back, back, tack, tack. Almost the Wagner-esque cadence that the Olympia SM3 offers to people who write with it. So that's my little vignette on how to choose a typewriter. Again, let the wand speak to the wizard. Try out a bunch of different machines. Go with the one that you feel most comfortable. And I can add this. If the typewriter that you love is $100 more or a couple $100 more, I urge you to really consider making that investment in your writing. Don't let a tiny amount of money get in the way of you and your dreams. Put that money into your dreams, and my feeling is that it will come back to you in ways that you just don't understand right now. But it will. The source, the timing, and all of that, they're not up to us. But when you show the universe that you are ready to do what you dream of doing, the universe generally reciprocates and says, no problem, buddy. Where and when? Just tell me when to start. For CreateX3.com, I'm Damon DiMarco. Thanks for joining us. Sign up for our newsletter at CreateX3.com. Thanks for watching. Stay happy, stay healthy, and stay creative.